Initially discussed the one data type which is called as a list. This is one of the very useful data type, and this list is very important because the list is called as kind of mutable data types. Mutable data types. Now, what do you mean by mutable? The mutable means in the list, the content can be modified time to time. We can change the content. So therefore, since we can modify the content in the structure, so we call that as a mutable data type. But previously we discussed about the string. Strings are not mutable. Strings are we call as immutable, where the content cannot be modified, content cannot be changed. So as an example, if you can remember the strings that you have discussed previously. Now, if I have a string like let's say if you write something like this, what happened? So now here you can see this is string we wrote. S is this one. Now in here, if you take the 0, the first character is simply. Now assume I want to modify this simple A to capital A, because in this string I have added A level, but I have added A is simple, but I want to make it capital now. So you can see first character 0 is simple A. So if I want to make it capital, then I just write, or I want to update that as capital A, not simple A, like this. I want to modify like this. First character is now simple A. I want to make it capital. But remember in this string, if you try that, it gives an error message. So that gives an error message. So that is the meaning of immutable. Immutable means once you create or once you assign some values to the string, that cannot be modified, that cannot be changed. So that's the property of the immutable data type. So here you cannot change the A. You can change the first character cannot be changed. So that is we call as an immutable data type. So, but the list that you're going to discuss today, the list is what we call mutable data type. Mutable data type. That means the content can be modified, content can be changed, not like a string. So to create the list, we need to use you can just use a name for the list. Let's say I just use a L to define the list. Now to create the list, you have to use the square bracket. Square brackets are needed in the list. Remember, you need to have the square brackets in the list. So then the items or the values you can separate by comma. So the other property of the list is you can have any different type of data. Like you can have integer, something like this. So you can have a floating point number with decimal point like this. And you can have a character like this. Or you can have a string like this. So in the list, remember, you can have different data types. Multiple data types can be there. Now, this is the list, just like array, which has how many items, how many elements? 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 items in the list. So then it creates a list. So I'll mean this list. So if you want to measure the length, we can use a function. Now, last week we discussed about the function. We have a function to measure the length. So this will tell you what is the length of this list. Now, this list has how many items? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 items in the list. Yeah. We can have, I'll explain. There can be list within the list, that is possible. I'll explain that. So here we have created a list with the 4 items, and then length function. You can use a length function to measure the length. That indicates there are 4 items. And then in the list, remember, you can access to each item one by one using the index number. So when you write L0, that means first value. First value is how much? 20. And when you say L1, next item, that is 6.5. And when you say L2, which is I, character, then the L3, which is last one. So then there are 4 items. You can access to each item one by one. Now I told you this list is what we call mutable, not like a string. In the list, the values can be modified, can be changed. Now you can see in this list, the first character, first one is 20. But if I want, I can change it. 0th value, if I want to have a new value, I want to have a new value. So in that case, let's say I can add a new value, maybe a string like this. So then you can see the first character, the first item is earlier 20. Now you can see first item is not 20. It is updated to the different value. Therefore, you must remember in a list, content can be modified. Not like a string. The string content cannot be modified. But here you can modify the content. In addition to that, you can see this list. When you say L3 means the last item. L3 is last item, this one. In this last item, it's a string. That's a string. So in that one, you can access to each character also. Third one, first character. So third item is which one? 0, 1, 2, 3. Third item is this L 2021. Where first character means A. First one is A. Similarly, you can go to the L3 second character. What is second character? L. Second character L. Similarly, you can go to the third one, third character. Then it is a 2 here. Then that is equal to how much? 2. Like you can get each character one by one from the string. That also possible. So then remember, in the list, the main difference between other data types, the list content can be modified, content can be changed. And remember, in a list, if you want, you can have a list like this. Let's say we create a list this way. Now remember, the list can contain another list like this. List can contain another list, something like this. So you can create a list like this. Now, when you create a list like this, that means list can contains another list. So here I am creating a list, but inside the list, I am creating another list. So then how many items are there in the list? This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one. This is the third one. And this is the fourth one. And this is the fifth one. There are 5 items. There are 5 items. So if you measure the length, you get as 5. There are 5 items. So like earlier, you can access to each element. L0 is 100. L1 is 7.8. L2 is the complete list. You can see L2 is a complete list. So in that case, remember, you can go inside second one, first item. So second one, first item is how much? 1. And the second one, second item, that is how much? 2. Sorry, second item is 0, 1, 2, ICT. And the list, the second item and third one. That is, this one is 0th one, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one. Third one is this. Third one is this. Not only that, you can go inside the characters also, like this, like L2, third one, and the 0th character, which is how much? A. Again, L2, third one, and first character, which is how much? L. Like, you can go inside here also one by one. So that way you can access to the elements one by one. So that's a list. Length is length. The length, how many characters? Length is that. Now here in this list, remember, list is this. Sorry. List. So this is the list I have. So in the list, how many length means a length. How many items are there? That's a length. How many items are in the length? A list is given by length. There are 5 items. What are the 5 items? This is the first one. This is the second one. So this is complete list, third one. And this is fourth one. And this is fifth one. That is how you get 5 items in the list. So that is the list. And again, remember, if I have 2 lists, if I have a 2 list, let's say we have one list name as A. Let's say I have the 1, 2, and 3. And I have another list B. Like this. So I have a 2 list A and B. So if I write A plus B, remember 2 lists can be added like this. 2 lists can be added like this. But A plus B is not same as B plus A because they get 2 different lists. So you can add the 2 lists together. And again, a list can be multiplied by number. Now A can be multiplied by 3. Then what happened? The list A will be repeated. So list A has 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is repeated 3 times. Then you can see list B has this. If you multiply B by 4, B will be repeated 4 times. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, like it can be repeated. But the 2 lists can't be multiplied. One list multiplied by other list, we give an error. 2 lists can be multiplied together. So just remember, 2 lists can be added together. And the list can be multiplied by number, then it will be repeated. So Just remember those two properties. Two lists can be added together or list can be multiplied by a number, integer. And yeah, these things I have explained in the note. I have already shared this with you. Just go through that. All these things I am explaining is available there. And again, when you have the list, the item can be accessed one by one in a list. So this is what I have explained to you. Two lists can be added together and the list can be multiplied by number, then it will be repeated. So that is the explanation here. And again, the list can be accessed by using this. We can get the different values of the list by using this slicing. Now, as an example, we discussed this in the string also. Now, if I have a list, so let's say I have a list like this. So if I have a list like this, now this is a list which has some characters. Again, you can measure the length of the list, which has how many characters? 8 characters are there. Then you can access to the each element by index number. However, you can define the range also, like you can write L 2:5. Then you can see 2:5 mean second one, starting from second one, last one is fourth one. Therefore, the answer is C, D, and E. So, this is the 0th one, index number 0. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. So in that case, this tells you starting is second one. Starting second one is this one. That means C. Go up to which one? Not 5, up to 4. Go up to 4. That means C, D, E. Therefore, you get the sub list like this, C, D, E. That's the meaning 2 to 5. 2 to 5 means starting 2, last value is not 5, last one is fourth one. And again, if I write L, fifth. Now, what is the meaning of this one? Fifth one onwards. Fifth one onwards. What is the fifth one? So, fifth one is, you can see, fifth one is, this is 0th one, this is first one, this is second one, this is third one, this is fourth one, and this is fifth one. Fifth one onwards. Fifth one is this one. This one onwards. That is how you get this output. Here the meaning is starting from the fifth one up to the last one. That is how you get that output. Again, if I write another slicing, let's say starting from the beginning, go up to the fifth one. That means starting from the beginning, but goes up to the fourth one, not to the fifth one. Starting from the beginning, 0th one, first one, second one, third one, fourth one, not to the fifth one. Therefore, up to this point, A to E. That is how you get this output. And again, remember, in the list, just like we discussed in the string, in a list, if you put the -1, the -1 means last one. -1 means last one. Then what is the -2? -2 means one before the last. One before the last is H, one before the last is G. So then you can use a minus index number also. You can have the minus index number also. So in that case, if you write L -3. Now what's the meaning? -3 onwards. -3 onwards. That is, this one is -1. This one is -2. This one is -3. Then here we are saying print the values from -3 onwards. -3 onward means this one. These three. That is -3 onwards. That is how you get this output. So that is how you get the slicing. And again, these slicings can be occurred like this also. If I just write 2:7:2, then what's the output? You get this. What's the meaning? When you take the array, now if I take the array or list, in the list, these are the values. Then this is the 0th one, this is the first one, this is the second one. So here the meaning is start from the second one. Second one means this C. And goes up to the 6th one. Last one is 6th. And increment by 2. Increment by 2. That means this is 0, 1, 2. Then the next one is 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2. We had to increment by 2. Therefore 2 plus 2, 4. Therefore next one is E. Then again increment by 2. 4 plus 2, 6. This is the 5th one. This is 6th one. So 6th one is this. So therefore you get the printing of G. So those are the values you get. C, E, and G. So that tells you start from the beginning, start from the second one, goes up to the 6th one, increment by 2. Increment by 2. That's the meaning of the last parameter. And again, remember in a list, if I have only the numbers in the list, like if I have a list with some numbers like this, let's say we have only numbers there. If I have a list like this, so in that case, if I have a list which has only numbers, so in that case, remember you can use this some existing functions there that gives the total, and that will find the maximum value. And again, you can find the minimum value also in the list. But remember, list must have only the numbers. If there are characters, these functions are not working. So that will calculate the sum, maximum value, and minimum value. And the other thing is, in the list, remember, we have some methods. Some methods are already developed. So to access that, you can use a dot operator. When you use a dot operator, you can see the methods available there. So there are some methods available like clear, copy, count, extend. There are different methods: remove, reverse, short. Like you can see, there's a method of function called as a short. So if I do that, if I call that function, if I do it, so what happened? The array elements are sorted. So you can see this is my list where the numbers are not sorted. But here I have just called the method sort. When I call that, the array elements, list elements are sorted. At the same time, there's a method here. There's another method which we call as a reverse. So we have a method called as a reverse. So what it does, you can see array elements are sorted in the reverse order. So like those predefined methods are there, you can use these methods. But remember this sorting and again the finding the maximum minimum sum, that can be done only with the numbers. If the list has other characters, it doesn't work. It may not give the correct output. So these are some of the properties of the list that you should familiar with. And again, when I have a list, you can access to the each values of the list by using a loop for I in range. And mainly you can use this function which can calculate how many items are there, length of the L and the colon with indentation. So here length L means length of the list, and the range function will produce the range. And you can say print each item L I. That will print each item one by one, like this. Each value will be printed. However, if I want to print horizontally, you can write for I in range then you can see same outputs, but ND equals empty means it keeps the spacing empty and the output producing horizontally, not vertically. That's the purpose of this ND equals empty. That will produce the output in the same line without going to the new lines. So in a list, each item you can access one by one. So those explanations are available in the note. You can use these functions, like these functions are there, but they are working only with the numerical values. Otherwise, they may not be working. Short methods also have explained there. So those are the things you should know in the list. So then we just quickly go to the other data structure, which is we call as a tuple. So tuple also very similar to the list. But remember, just like a string, tuple also immutable. That means a tuple content cannot be changed. Content cannot be modified. So to create a tuple, now the list we create by using the square bracket. Square brackets are needed to create the list. But to create the tuple, we can use parentheses like this. So in that case, just similar to the list, you can have the values like this. Some numbers with decimal point, or some characters can be there. Another strings can be there, like this. So this creates a tuple. It's a tuple. Just like in a list, you can access to the members using the index number, which is very similar to the previous one. That will be equal to C. That is third one. Here, what is the meaning? This will tell you third one. Third one means this is zeroth one, this is the first one, this is the third one. Sorry, this is zeroth one, first one, second one, third one. Third one is this one. In that one, first character is zeroth one, first one is this C. That is how you get the output as C. However, remember, in the list, content cannot be modified. Now in here, the tuple, the first character is 10. First character is 10. Now assume, now you can see the first one is 10. Let's say I want to modify the first one. I want to modify that one to 100. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't allow to modify the content. So therefore, remember, tuple is a immutable data type where content cannot be changed, content cannot be modified. Not like a list. In the list, content can be changed, content can be modified. And remember, to create the tuple, yeah, that is possible. Addition can be done. Now, if there's a tuple, remember, to create the tuple, the parenthesis is not compulsory. Parenthesis is not compulsory. Like, you can write like this. So this creates a tuple. And if you have another tuple, so you can create a tuple like this, another one. Something like this. This is also tuple. Just like a string, we can add them together. That is possible. Addition is possible. And again, the tuple can be modified by the number. That is also possible. That is also possible. But you can see in the tuple, we don't get the functions like earlier. In the string, you can see the list, we have the short, reverse like methods are there, but this doesn't get that much of methods. And this tuple is having some numbers. So if you use the sum function, that works. Max function, the min function, that works. But if there are characters, when there are characters, it doesn't work. And another thing is, when I have this tuple I have. So you have a method called as a list. So remember, the tuples can be converted to a list by using the method list. Similarly, if I have a list, we have a method called as a tuple that converts into tuple. So then remember, tuples can be converted into list by using the list method. List can be converted to tuple by using the tuple method. And another important thing, if I have a string, so let's say if I have a string here like this, now you can use the method list here. By using the list, you can convert the string into a list. At the same time, when I have this string, I can use the tuple method to convert the string into a tuple like this. That is possible. So therefore, a list method is used to create a list where the tuple and the strings can be converted into a list. And tuple methods can be used to convert the list or string into a tuple. Now, when you have the list, remember, we have a function called as str, which can convert that given list into a string like this. Then it is a complete string. That is also possible. So just remember these methods are available: list method, tuple method, str methods. So the tuple, most important thing is the content can be modified. And again, remember the tuples you can create by just using the, without having the parentheses, you can create a tuple. Because if you look at the type, you can see indicate type as a tuple. Therefore, to create a tuple, the parentheses are not compulsory. That means you can assign the value like this. That is possible. Then it is a tuple. It's a tuple. It's an immutable data type where content can be changed. So that is another data type, tuple. You can just go through this content. I have given some example also. Then we have another data type called as a set. That is the mathematically set operation. So that is, we know we can, we have worked with the sets in mathematics. Now to create a set, remember, we need to have curly brackets. Curly brackets are needed like this. Then you can create a set like this. Now you can see I purposely added the same value in when I'm creating. I purposely add the same value here, 5. We know in a set, same element should not be repeated. Same element should not be repeated. That is why here the 5 is coming only once, because it's a set. It's a set. In a set, the same value should not be repeated. So in a set, remember, like we use the index number to access, that cannot be done in a set. That is not possible. So to create the sets, remember these curly brackets will be used. So far in the exams, there were no questions with the set data type. However, you can just go through that note, but dictionary is there. Now to create the dictionary, remember to create the dictionary, same curly brackets are being used. Same curly brackets will be used. However, in a dictionary, we have 2 value pairs. So the first one we call as a key. Second one we call as a corresponding value, like this. So always you have a key, and again, the value is there. So you can create a dictionary by using the curly brackets. You can use the curly brackets. You can use the curly brackets. So then the dictionary, you must have key. First one is a key. Let's say it can be a number, it can be a character. That's okay. So you can define, let's say, like this. You can create a dictionary. It's a dictionary. Now, then when you create it, remember, the first one we call as a key. Second one we call as a value. This is the key and this is the value. And this is the key and this is the value. And remember, you can access to the value by using the key. Therefore, here when I write B A, then it tells you the value. So you can access to each by using the key. By using the key. But remember, here it doesn't work with that because here key is a number. Capital symbols are two different things. However, now here you can see you can see this is equal to bus. The B means bus. Now let's say I just write which is equal to now different one bet. You can see now what happened. Now you can see it has changed. Earlier I have given B means bus, but now I have given B is bet. Then you can see it's updated. So it is updated means the dictionary also similar to the list. That is, the dictionary also content can be modified. Therefore, dictionaries of what data types that is also mutable. Mutable content can be changed. And again, if I want to add something new, then you can see it will be added. It will be added. New elements can be added. And remember, similar to the dictionary, the list, dictionary also content can be modified, can be changed. That is called as a mutable data type. Mutable data. So in our data types, remember only the list and the dictionaries are mutable. All the others are immutable, where content can be changed, content can be modified. So those are the things that you want to know here. Mainly the dictionary, you can just go through that regarding this dictionary part. So are there any questions with these data types? We discussed about the list, tuples, sets, and dictionary.